What message should you send to the potential customer right after the call about your digital service? Let's dive into it right now. Hi, this is Eugene from Freelance Mushrooms. We help freelancers and small digital teams to succeed with their businesses. We help our viewers to figure out the better way to acquire customers, negotiate deals with them, and also we share some of the best practices of project management tools. I've been in freelance world for over a decade already, and if you open, let's say, my Upwork profile, you're gonna see sales over $2 million on a few profiles of mine. We also have quite a successful Clutch profile, and we are currently going through the wonderful journey of acquiring customers via our website. Long story short, today we're gonna talk about terms and getting started questions which you should send to a customer right after the call. In fact, I often do that right during the call because I customize the terms while talking to the customer. So instead of making minutes of meeting and notes, I basically make all those notes within the existing template of terms and getting started questions. So when at the end of the conversation, a customer says, so what's the next step? I usually tell them, you already have a message from me in your inbox with a list of terms and getting started questions I work with. That message is basically the summary of our call, but in written form, and also at the last point you can see my list of getting started questions. Please return me those with your answers and we'll get things going. In this video, I'm going to use the terms I use to send to a potential customer before the contract stage. I'll use a business where we do fully animated marketing explainer videos, and that is called doodlevideoproduction.com. Basically, that's a short cartoon for business. The service is quite simple and straightforward. Let's say this is a startup, they need a short video. This is usually a one-time project, and it has some fixed rounds of revisions, it has fixed fees, and etc., and it's quite easy to understand. So this content you see on my screen now is pretty much exactly what I send to my potential customers right after the call or during the call. As you see, the point one is the budgets. We need to clearly outline how much we're gonna charge. And moreover, even if we have agreed with the customer during the call that the length of the video is going to be only 60 seconds, I still would usually leave the price which is more expensive if the video ends up longer. Depending on how conversation goes, I sometimes may include the lower price and the higher price, apart from the agreed price. As you see, just this paragraph by itself already conveys not only the price, but also kind of what are the limitations. It's not just you pay $1,000 and we'll make your video. No, if you pay $1,000, you'll get only 45 seconds worth of video. And by the way, at the very first step of the process, you will understand what is going to be the length of the video because it takes 2.5 words per second for a professional voiceover artist to read your script. So if your script, meaning voiceover text, has 115 words, that means that your video is going to be 45 seconds, give or take. Deadlines, important point. Long story short, we always deliver videos on time. The key to that is that we exclude the waiting time from our deadline promise. Basically, we explain to them that waiting time doesn't count. If you need time to consider some of the stuff I sent you for the approval, that all goes against the overall deadline. Moreover, from my experience, quite only a few customers are able to provide the feedback within 12 to 24 hours, including weekends. Moreover, when it comes to rush jobs like 2-week deadline, I usually would put 6 to 12 hours. Some of the customers do respond like that, and they provide clear feedback which doesn't require further clarification, but still it gives multiple opportunities to write a customer and tell them, well, you know what, here and there, I was waiting for your feedback, so I would suggest that we kindly move the deadline from July 20th to July 25th. And that kind of message halfway through the project sometimes may either organize customer better so that they start returning your messages faster and prioritize them faster, or sometimes it could open up a possibility to increase the budget of the project without having the customer angry. So whenever you have a deadline conversation with a customer in the project, make sure you convey all that. This way you will not only protect yourself, but also you will convey to the customer that you have a large experience in project management and you actually have been in all of those situations of failing deadlines, and that most likely, since you have that experience, you're going to use all of that experience in order to make it on time for this customer. That is a kind of a subconscious message we want to send to a customer. Let's go next, milestones. Basically, this is the payment schedule we expect. Usually, I charge the first milestone as fixed fee, $500, regardless of the budget of the project, to make it just simpler. But sometimes when the project is over $2,000, obviously I will try to put the first milestone as, let's say, $1,000 or $1,100. Usually I would try to put the first milestone slightly less than the second one. This kind of shows some sort of a confidence that I'm sure I will be able to deliver the product up to your expectations. And since milestone is only halfway through the project, basically it gives you more confidence that I have more motivation to deliver your final result. Although, in fact, delivering storyboard with illustrations and with voiceover in a marketing explainer video project, it actually almost 70% of the process. So it would be fair to charge customers 70% of the total budget, but this is the way I usually do it. I usually qualify and choose the customer in a way so that we build trustworthy relationship where it doesn't really matter whether the first milestone is $1,300 or $300. As you see here again, I'm explaining what are the limitations, I'm hinting to that, and what is included into each milestone so that customer doesn't have to ask what am I paying for and what am I going to get. Moreover, if they have that question at any point in the project, they can always return to these terms of services and have their answers. Number 4, what my bid includes. In a way, all of that information has been conveyed here in some way, but this is again one more clarification that we are not vampires who live eternal life. We don't have unlimited resources. We cannot afford offering unlimited revisions. Moreover, I gotta tell you that my explanation of what my bid includes and limitations of rounds of revisions often waived any customer's feeling that it's too good to be true. The thing is, my kind of services of producing full animated marketing explainer video, they are sometimes resold for like 10 times more what I charge. So I get agencies hiring me, they pay me $1,000, but customer pays them $10,000. Sometimes it's $15,000. And when that kind of $15,000 customer goes, let's say, on Upwork or on my website, finds us directly, they're kind of skeptical why all of the offers I got in States were like for at least $10,000, and why this guy somewhere in Canada can deliver me for $1,000. What's the catch? What's gonna go wrong? And after they have a call, after they have a conversation with me, and after they hear everything I have to say and also see these revisions, they understand, well, yeah, those guys probably offered unlimited rounds of revisions. This is what was different. This what was different. And long story short, they kind of find peace of mind and justify why this individual is charging only $1,000, or a team like in my case. Anyways, we have nailed that. You need to be, by the way, quite concise over here. Now we're going to the point of getting started questions. Here, basically, question A and B are the most important ones. And as you see, I conveyed them slightly long. Generally, you could ask question A, give me data based on which I can generate a script. Question B, tell me which video do you like. But after having those questions that short and having different kind of answers I was getting from customers, I figured that it actually takes many messages and back and forth messages to clarify the actual answer, because there are very different people you're doing business with, and those different people return you all sorts of different kinds of answers. So you need to ask a question in a way so that any kind of person you are doing business with will have the only understanding of a proper answer they need to return to you. You can start with a shorter version, of course, but whenever you are receiving different responses or clarification questions from a customer, make sure you mirror that in your template of terms you are working with. Currently, by seeing the response from a customer to this getting started questions message, I can also make a decision and in a way qualify the customer. If the answers are like, hey, see attached doc, I open the doc, there is only squeeze the information, just what I need. B, number 5, circular flow isometric. We are okay with the extra cost. Then C, logo, see attached. D, voice, use this one, and etc. So if it's basically a list of A, B, C, D with only one line of answer in each one of them, it also tells me a lot whether this guy is efficient, or a lady or whatever, whether this customer is efficient, whether they can respond efficiently and fast, and how pleasant is it going to be working with them. It also affects my team's planning, because the customer who returns this kind of message in that efficient way will be able to finish the project faster with us, meaning we will be able to actually make those money faster. By the way, in the question regarding the voiceover, I removed the links of the voiceover artists I work with, but I took Dropbox links and shortened them with a service called Bitly, so that this message looks aesthetically nice, because you don't want to overwhelm your customer with lots of information and scary links. Even this message, many of them find scary and don't bother to read it carefully. I can't tell you how many times I had this situation when I had a written conversation with a potential customer, the lead basically, and I send them the list of terms to get them a good grasp of the terms I work with. They would schedule a call with me, and during the call I will figure out that they actually didn't read it. So I will walk them through all of those questions they have by simply walking through this list of terms and etc. And they would say, oh yeah, actually makes sense. I wish I read it before. Sorry for that, but whatever. It was still pleasure meeting. I also had many cases where people just read those terms and said, you know what? I don't need a call. I'm really sold and convinced. Let's get things going. Let's do business. So make sure your list of terms are that good and you polish it with every single project. And if customer has any clarification questions about any of the questions here, make sure you make the proper adjustments to avoid these kinds of situations. Now, there are also questions like what kind of resolutions you are after. Now, this one is important. Usually it's better to ask it during the call. But you know what I've learned? That even if I ask it during the call, sometimes they tend to forget something or things change. So I usually include these questions for just in case. Worst case scenario, they will return and answer something like, as we mentioned during the call, we will have our CEO and founder and all of their friends and bunch of designers reviewing this work. So it's just an extra written reminder for you that if you have that many people and somebody else's dog reviewing the work you are submitting to a customer, that means they are going to use all of their rounds of revisions and probably will ask for more. This project will definitely go out of budget, and whatever the price, the fixed price you wrote over here, most likely you're going to regret about it, because many people, that means problems. And if you forgot to ask that question during the call, make sure you have it written in your template. And also it's quite important to ask this portfolio type of question. Moreover, at this point, some of the customers may remember that, oh, by the way, no, I don't want you to share it in your portfolio. Moreover, let's sign NDA or sign an agreement, some extra agreement. And feeling protected is always good for a business relationship. Coming back to the list of questions, in fact, I have many of them, but the main ones are only A and B. And I also convey that to my potential customers by saying, listen, you need to review the terms just to remember everything we have discussed once again, and also return me your answers to question A and B so that I could start doing our part. Meanwhile, we will have time for you to figure out the answers to the remaining questions. So make sure you include the most important and essential information for the project from the customer at the very beginning, and try to make it as complete and concise as possible. You can get the Google Doc link to this exact file I'm using by clicking the link in the description to this video. Also, once you draft the terms of services for your own business, feel free to send it to us and we'll review it for $200 US. You will be able to access that service by the same link. This list of terms will keep you well protected. It will reduce the amount of back and forth messages during the onboarding process, and it will just make your business more fun. So have fun doing business. This was Eugene from Freelance Mushrooms. Make sure you like and subscribe. Goodbye.